I'm Julian Ledesma, a Juniper Networks Air Force and Space Force SE. In this video, I want to give you a brief overview of our EVPN Vxlan network fabric manager known as Apstra. Apstra is an intent-based networking tool that allows you to create and manage complex 3-stage and 5-stage EVPN Vxlan fabrics. Rather than just tell you about it, I'd like to take a teach a person how to fish approach and encourage you to use Juniper's web-based Vlabs to manage your own fabric and truly experience how Apstra is unlike any other fabric manager. Before we start looking at the Apstra tool, I'd like to give you a super quick tour of Vlabs, which you can access using jlabs.juniper.net and click on Vlabs. Here, you can see how many interactive labs we have available. Each takes you through how to log in and access components of each lab. These are great if you want to work through a design question or if you need to develop your Junos chops for certifications. In this demonstration, I've already selected the Vlabs Apstra sandbox. It's important to note that each of these labs uses compute resources and takes about 1 hour for automation tools to build your lab. After the lab is built, an email will be sent to you with the instructions on how to log in. Configuring EVPN Vxlan by hand, we start with our devices wired in our 3-stage CLO configuration. We configure eBGP between our leaves and spines as our underlay for the purpose of advertising our loopbacks. We then stitch those switches together with iBGP and enable EVPN signaling and establish Vxlan tunnels to extend your VLANs across your fabric. Using this strategy for your data center has many performance benefits, such as multi-homed gateways for load balancing, MAC learning in the control plane instead of the data plane, and dramatic scalability improvements. However, the downsides are that the configuration is not for the faint of heart. Also, as far as needing to turn over the knowledge when your lead network engineer decides to move on, can leave a lapse in support. This is where the concept of intent-based networking with Apstra steps in. You communicate the intent of your fabric, and Apstra builds it for you. We're going to quickly step through the instructions on the sandbox to show that Apstra is a complete fabric management solution. We start by onboarding devices. These devices have already been onboarded. We define our resources as in our IP pools, autonomous system number pools, VNI pools. Apstra takes care of the hard part by using these values to build all of the address space and segment them for you. Then we define our racks for our leaves and attach our bare metal servers to the leaves. We then build a template which ties together the spines and leaf racks. Now, as an old hardware engineer, I can appreciate this because Apstra can tell you if you have a cabling problem. It can also provide you a cut sheet on exactly how to wire your data center. We then create a blueprint which brings all of the elements of the fabric together to create relationships. We assign physical resources, VRFs, and security zones. Once you deploy the blueprint, you are rewarded with the ultimate telemetry-rich fabric manager which uses a graph database. Deploying network fabrics are now the de facto standard for networks and data centers. Deploying them and managing them involve a bit of heavy lifting with respect to needing highly certified engineers, longer mean time to innocence, and a complicated procedure in expanding your network. It can also be quite challenging in determining the current state of your data centers. With Apstra's intent-based model, you'll be able to build your data center, maintain, troubleshoot, and grow your network from a single pane of glass.